Stardust, Chapter 26, Part 3. Project ID, KinDo. Type, Infantry Equipment. Role, Non-lethal anti-personnel. Description, Self-propelled guided munition for high-value target capture using various EC techniques. New record, 10:30 AM, May 9th, 2015. KinDo is another product of the Foundry that I suspect will make the research teams and the strike teams very happy, as it provides a slightly less risky alternative to the arc thrower for capturing live targets. Rough drafts of KinDo place the device at approximately the size of a softball and contain 4 distinct parts: EC telekinesis for locomotion after initial deployment, EC animation for target acquisition, a power cell provided by EA, and a high voltage discharge system similar to the arc thrower. KinDo is deployed in much the same manner as a grenade by simply tossing it. As soon as the device leaves the soldier's hand, it activates an EC animation program, which starts to scan along its trajectory for specific targets. We believe that we can get very specific as to what will trigger the second stage, but for now, the condition is simply not human, until we can get testing prototypes going. As soon as a target matching EC's animation criteria is discovered, it feeds information into EC telekinesis to propel KinDo directly at its target. The moment contact is made, the internal arc thrower will discharge and hopefully subdue the target. While KinDo may be used in a similar manner as a grenade, we should also emphasize that it is reusable and also contains valuable Illyrium, so recovery after use is paramount. End log. Project ID, Zabania. Type, Infantry Armor System, Skyranger Upgrade. Role, Camouflage. Description, Limited Visual Stealth System using EC Wallflower. New record, 10:30 AM, May 10th, 2015. The Zabania project caused quite a stir with the engineering staff once the nature of the Illyrium circuits was revealed, and I can't say I blame them. I know I'm gonna regret putting it down in writing, but invisibility is the stuff of science fiction, and a large portion of the engineering staff was willing to shelf this project completely because of it. When the seriousness of their concerns became apparent, I pulled some strings and had the armor camera footage from Gangplank and Silent Rain shown for the staff. Both Sergeant Harris and Corporal Jenkins had access to the Wallflower prototypes with them during both missions due to their involvement with the Stardust project and provided ample evidence of their effectiveness of the system. The one weakness that we could verify from the footage was that it was completely ineffective against cyberdiscs once it appeared. I consulted with Moira Valen and she was able to confirm that Wallflower does not affect electronic equipment, and by extension cyberdiscs, in any way. When I asked if the Stardust specialist was aware of the weakness, Moira informed me that she was not. After Wallflower was initially developed, it was felt that keeping that little bit of information secret would be a good way to maintain base security. I don't think we can tell the specialist now about the weakness, as she would likely blame herself for the deficiency in her invention, especially after the catastrophic injury suffered by Corporal Jenkins while using Wallflower. As there is no way to modify the schematics of the Illyrium circuitry without the specialist's aid, we will be moving forward with the designs we currently have while making it perfectly clear what the weaknesses are to anyone who uses it. Testing can be completed once the EA project is complete, and current plans are to integrate the fruits of the Zabania project into the most recent armor designs that are in production. The newly produced Carapace armor has shown some resistance to plasma weaponry and will aid in soldier survivability, and has ample room for the Zabania and its required power supply to be added for even more versatility. Once these chameleon armor sets are distributed, I hope to see far less casualties after each mission. Another use for Zabania is on our Skyrangers. The Skyrangers have stealth characteristics to allow them to avoid most conventional radar and detection systems, but they are still vulnerable to the old-fashioned Mark I eyeball. XCOM has received some rather high-profile attention when it's been forced to operate in urban areas, since the Skyrangers are not too subtle when they land and take off. It is unknown just how effective this will be with the degree of noise and other physical disturbances that a VTOL craft makes when close to its ground, but it is worth pursuing if we can stay off the front page of newspapers in doing so, not to mention avoid the attention of invader ground forces as well. They have proven to be quite effective as close air support, and heaven knows how effective they'll be when they're invisible to most enemies that we face. As with the previous projects, this depends on EA's successful completion before further progress can be made. End log. Project ID, Mjolnir. Type, Infantry Equipment. Role, Remote Control Interface. Description, Precision guidance and control of devices powered by EC animation. New record, 7:42 AM, May 11, 2015. I have pitched the Mjolnir system to the engineering team as a remote control system that's used to operate machinery and devices that are powered specifically with EC animation. If the degree of control and the articulation of the devices aren't exaggerated, then we'll start to see some very interesting developments in the field of robotics. To elaborate, there are 3 discrete parts in the Mjolnir system. The first and second are implants similar to those found in the Invaders, while the third is a device that is under the effects of EC animation. The first implant will interface with the user's mind to provide power akin to a microscale EA generator to power the second implant, which broadcasts the user's intent to EC animation for direction. EC animation also draws power from the first implant, which should, in theory, provide more than enough power to move on its own. Unlike previous research materials provided by Stardust, which were diagrams and explanations of various EC phenomena, the materials for Mjolnir also included detailed plans for the proof of concept for the project. Specifically, it involves the creation of a prosthetic limb for Lana Jenkins, who had lost her left arm during Gangplank. In addition to EC animation diagrams, a detailed blueprint of the prosthetic itself was included along with a side-by-side comparison of the bone and muscle structure of a human arm. Where the Stardust specialist got something like that, I have no idea. Also included was a list of suggested materials and construction methods for the prosthetic itself. I'll be the first to admit, the Stardust specialist is an unrivaled genius in her chosen field, but she's quite lacking in others. Most of her suggested materials aren't going to be feasible due to weight or durability concerns, and the arm itself lacks anything that will actually cause the arm to move beside EC animation. No hydraulics, no cables, there isn't even an inch of wiring. The conventional engineer in me thinks that this is going to end up as so much dead weight. Of course, this specialist has pulled off impossible things in the past, so I'm confident that when this is complete, we'll see something extraordinary. I don't want to think about the aftermath if it doesn't work. I had to sanitize the original blueprints as they had a personal letter to me from the Stardust specialist that makes me worry about her mental state if this turns out to be anything but a total success. Update: 12:02 p.m. May 11, 2015. After securing Lana's consent to the operation, we began fabrication of both the custom implants as well as the prosthetic. Fabrication is expected to be complete by the end of the day, and the operation is scheduled for tomorrow for installation. We'll hopefully have our answer to this question by noon tomorrow. If it does work, it opens up some possibilities for some of our more offensively aligned technologies. If there is insignificant or no time lag, then I imagine we might be able to create a second generation of interceptors that don't risk the expertise and lives of our pilots in the fields. Shivs may also become far more nimble in the field if it is an extension of its controller's body, rather than its current method of control. The possibilities are quite enticing, but I don't know if I like what it will cost us. While these technologies will make our lives much easier and less risky, I can't think of a single healthy person who would want to volunteer to get these implants. And I'm also greatly worried about the specialist in Stardust, and what motivated her to share all this information with us so suddenly. The EA project generator is nearing completion. I'll try to approach the subject gently when I see her there. I just hope that she isn't overworking herself. End log.